What up, peeps? It's me, Eli. It's so good to be back again with some more thoughts. Now, the 2010s are almost over. And I think it's time I answered something that's been on my mind for such a long time. Is it really worth freaking out over something that comes out that we don't like? And I'm not talking about any political stuff. No. I'm more so referring to the animated television programs, animated movies, or just anything that comes out these days. Because I think ever since Teen Titans Go, maybe even beforehand, we have seen so many people from the cartoon community just going absolutely ballistic over something that really isn't even all that bad. Well, okay, the shows themselves aren't very good, but they're just shows, you know? They're just TV shows at the end of the day. It's not a big deal. But so many people just have this grudge towards something that comes out. They don't treat it as just an individual property. They treat it as if it's much more than what it really is. In other words, they like to make a mountain out of a molehill. And the biggest examples come from Thundercats Roar and the She-Ra reboot. With the Thundercats Roar reboot, people went absolutely bombastic. They hated the art style. And don't get me wrong, I don't like the art style myself. And commenting on how it could just be Teen Titans Go, but with the Thundercats characters. And I won't lie myself, I do question why they made that decision to make this new Thundercats reboot look like this. I mean, there was the Thundercats reboot beforehand that wasn't all that successful, even though it was kind of like The Last Airbender, but like, this one is like a lot more goofy. But at the end of the day, I don't care. And even if I did watch the original Thundercats, which I didn't, I probably still wouldn't care. I would just enjoy my original show. And that's kind of the same thing with the She-Ra reboot. People either complain that this ruined their childhood, or that it's some lesbian SJW fest. I've seen that show though. Not the original show, but this reboot, Princess of Power. Don't see anything like that there. At all. If anything, the characters are just characters that are well thought out, funny, relatable, and even really emotional. I didn't see any stuff. Okay, there may have been a few elements here and there, but they were subtle and they were treated with respect. Regardless of how the characters look, the creators intended them to be fully fleshed out characters first. That's what it should be about. And honestly, if you're going to tell me that She-Ra has to be hot by your standards, then chances are you probably haven't seen a lot of women, man. I mean, not everyone has to look as freaking curvaceous or whatnot. I mean, come on. Knock it off. And even at that, some people have gone after the creators of the show. Well, I don't entirely know, but I'm pretty sure some people have actually been harassed up to the point where it's just ridiculous. It's like, once again, how are we supposed to take you seriously? It's messed up. And don't even get me started on the High Guardian Spice thing. Look, I can agree, the trailer wasn't very good. It was vague. And I also thought it was a little manipulative how they were just patting themselves on the back for having a diverse crew. Yeah, whatever. But that does not reflect the overall quality of the show. Maybe for all we know, it could potentially be a really good series that happens to have some great characters, well thought out narratives, and wonderful animation. Yes, I know Crunchyroll has a history of shady business practices, and believe me, that's a story for another day. But that doesn't mean we should hold the crew accountable for anything. But no, people decide to just harass the people, especially one particular writer whose name shall be anonymous. But the main reason they attacked them? Well, her former Twitter profile says it all. But regardless, that does not mean we should attack people just for their past. I mean, for goodness sake, people, I said it before, it's the same thing that happened to James Gunn. What the fuck? See, my beef is that I feel like my culture is made up of really impatient incels. I know that's too harsh of a word, but let's be honest, a lot of people on the internet have the impatience of a toddler. Not everybody. And I'm not trying to say this to be mean or condescending. I'm just speaking the truth. Because so many people these days are so desperate to find anything to hate on that they'll just find the quickest thing to just bash. And look, there's plenty of stuff coming out that I'm not looking forward to. Like that Sonic the Hedgehog movie. or the live-action remakes of animated Disney films. Several stuff I don't care for. But that's the thing. I don't care to watch it. If you're not interested in something, don't watch it. Plain and simple. Remember back when the Emoji Movie was released? Many people said, "Oh, I want this movie to bomb," and yet they ended up seeing anyway just to spite it. Do you not realize the irony in that? You ended up contributing to something that you didn't even care for. And that's on you. I mean, after all, the movie was a box office hit. Not a blockbuster, but hey, it got its money back, and it's all because of you people. So, who's the real fool here? Look, you can have your opinions all you want. I'm not saying you can't. Heck, I don't even mind if you hyperbolize your thoughts. But you shouldn't hyperbolize them up to the point where you take things way too personally. Because honestly, dude, at that point, it really makes me question what your stance is. One piece of news that came out that genuinely scares me is that there's going to be another Ghostbusters film. And oh god, if the same kind of backlash that was inflicted on the 2016 reboot is inflicted on this film, then honestly, I think we might be screwed. So, people, you better chill the frick out when this film comes out. It doesn't matter if the film is different. It doesn't matter if the film deviates from the source material. What matters is that you respond to it maturely, which you clearly cannot even bother to do. Of course, no matter what you create, you're always going to piss at least somebody off. But that is no excuse to hold your childhood accountable for anything. As the old saying goes, if you say something ruined your childhood, chances are you never even had one to begin with. But here's my alternative. Don't focus on the stuff that you think will ruin your childhood or whatnot. Focus your efforts on something that you're actually interested in. But even at that, don't coddle your way back to the stuff that you grew up with because, let's be real here, there's a good chance that some, not all, but some of the stuff that you did grow up with is probably not very good. I grew up with a bunch of movies and shows that do not age well. This is coming from a former fan of Pokemon and Scooby-Doo, mind you. Emphasis on former. Part of the beauty of moving on is that you discover stuff that you would have never experienced beforehand. This means that you'll broaden your tastes and grow fond of stuff that's otherwise unknown. A lot of obscure media goes on to be cult classics when people talk about it. Look at El Topo, look at The Iron Giant, or hell, look at the films by Ralph Bakshi. Now those movies, plenty of them were scorned upon when they were released. People went nuts over them, and I'm not even going to get into why. Just look at the freaking films for yourself. But nowadays, they have grown a much bigger audience. Not to say people didn't like them back when they were released, but I would personally argue that the audiences for those films have grown even more nowadays than beforehand. Wizards is his most popular work, and many people actually cosplay in tribute to that film. Isn't that what some of you people like to do? You like to cosplay to some of your favorite works? Well, in that case, why don't you focus on stuff that you really like? And one more thing. If anything else comes out that you're really not happy about, go back to something that you love or find something else that you've never seen before that you are interested in, because that way you'll realize, oh hey, there are masterpieces out there. The way I personally see it, bad media exists so that we can appreciate the good media. We have duds so we can appreciate the gems. We have fast food so we can appreciate well-made gourmet food. We have garbage music that's mainstream to appreciate more underground hardcore music. All that jazz. So my bottom line is, folks, stop being so negative all the time. If you don't like something, that's one thing, but you're not a child anymore. You've grown up. And even if you are actually a child, please do yourself a favor and don't become a man-child in the future. A lot of media is coming out. There's a lot to look forward to and a lot to possibly avoid. And that's why we gotta make sure to respond to it properly. And by properly, I mean maturely. As Plato once said, opinion is the medium between knowledge and ignorance. Couldn't have said that better myself. So the next time you try to act cynical, feel free to do so, but don't follow the latter path. Follow the former path foremost. It's a lot healthier for you. So to end this off, what do you guys think of the media that's coming out this year? Or heck, the media that's coming out the next decade? Are you excited for it? Are you dreading it? please let me know. Although, please do it respectfully. I have confidence in all of you anyway, but just remember to do that regardless. Thank you. And until then, catch you guys on the flip side.